Woo!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's What the Heck. We have Benjamin and I'm Heck7. Woke, I see you there. If you want to hop on, let me know. I'll send you the link. Yeah, so how you doing, Benjamin? It's been a bit.
I'm very good. Thanks for asking, Hack. How are you? You okay
I'm
there?
good. I'm good.
Good. Good to
How
hear.
are you liking your new space?
It's enjoyable beyond belief, actually.
Beyond
I did,
belief.
yeah, it's unbelievable. I had no idea life could be this much better than it was.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers to that, man. That's
Mm, mm, mm.
awesome. That's great news. Uh, yeah, feel free to chill. How are you doing, Woke?
Stay woke.
And
That's
Robbie? Perfect. Yeah, we were just before we were just talking about sequencers a little bit, specifically analog sequencers. Um, Benjamin recommended me taking a look at the Step 8, which I am super excited about after very briefly looking at it, especially
it's
it's the
money.
journalog or
It's expensive.
journalog. It, oh, I hadn't got that far. Maybe I'm a
It's,
little less excited about it once I see the price, but
yeah,
it's so far off. I don't. I mean, it's fine. I can save, um,
yeah.
or I can like
It's
sell
only
the things on my shelf and buy it.
yeah, a little piece of your soul.
Yeah, yeah. I don't need. I mean, I had no idea how expensive Eurorack actually was. Like, genuinely did not know because I had 64 HP to work with. I did not like look at. I mean, I look at the modules and be like, okay, that's a cool whatever that is, and listen to it. Um, but usually, like the stuff I'm really interested in is like more than 10 HP, and that's like too much for me. That's too wide for my blood. But now that I'm actually looking, whew, some of y'all with those big setups are like you're like piloting a freaking airplane in cost almost.
It's
It's
we
cool.
wouldn't do it unless it was fun.
It's
It's
so much fun. Like there's no, I mean, that's one of the reasons I want to get into it is I'm a little jealous. There's a lot of really interesting Eurorack modules that uh, I just can't make myself, and no one's made like a Cosmos sized thing. And there's a limit to how much DIY I want to do. Like maths was something I considered making a Cosmo module out of because I really do. It is a valuable module. Like you can't go wrong with a few function generators and mixer and all that. But 52 holes, like precisely drilled, plus desoldering or soldering and putting all that, like that's just too much wiring and work. So it's time to get serious about Eurorack, and I am. Uh, and I'm also going to be open to like I'm asking for all these recommendations each day, which is pretty fun to chat and learn about stuff. But I'm also going to be needing to ask like how do you make this case look less empty when I only have like a 2 HP module in it and it's got 9U worth of space. Uh, Open to
maybe
ideas there.
maybe start an Etsy store selling blanks and use it as like your photo shoot area. Take
Sell
pictures of blanks.
blanks. Another
Why
idea was
not?
get like random EMS people to send me like I don't know their avatar or something, and I print it out as big as I can
It's
and fill it
adorable.
up. Yeah, other options are there, but
The modular family.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. Um, if I get a rate about something, I might demand entry. What the Etsy? Yeah, I mean blanks are cool too. I could make some blanks. I'm sure I have plenty of aluminium. Probably too thick for most Eurorack people's blood, but it's what I could get. It turns out it's hard
Yeah,
to get
why not?
aluminum like sheets in a reasonable size at a reasonable cost at the right thickness in the U.S. So that's why it's called Eurorack. It's the aluminium.
There's nothing wrong with using aluminum or aluminum, however you want
Or
to say it. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you should be DIYing, but whatever. It's,
yeah, I mean that's what I mean. I have been. That's I mean these are aluminium uh, panels that I made, but they they come with scrap metal that is very large in Eurorack terms. So excited to use that for other things. Yeah. So
beautiful.
most
What were
recently, Oh, go
It's the
ahead.
cat, right? Yeah, we were listening to what, the cat on the intro? What was
Yeah,
that?
so that is the two newest modules I've got were the cat and the catnip from 2HP, and one, the cat, I couldn't resist because it's like the big honking button. It's something, like you said, esoteric that just makes me really happy.
Cool.
And right now, the actual what do they call it? The mood is set by this sequencer. So if I like step through a few steps, so I was using that step sequencer for like the mood and triggering it with my pyramid, but it was a lot of fun, and that's just going through the echoey because it makes everything musical no matter what signal you send through it, like a bunch of cats. Anyway, I love that. But the catnip itself is an effects module that I don't really know what the effects are because I don't know that there's ever a manual for it. But I was just running various things through it, and I decided to run this like drum sequence. Hold on, let me just do the drums. So this is a drum sequence, and this is just the module with full wet. And I don't know what effect this is, but I can cycle through the various effects.
Sounds good. It's funky.
Bit crushing. But I thought that was pretty awesome sounding, very, very robot. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the catnip module. That one's probably staying in this rack as long as there's space. And there's 2 HP, so there's probably going to be space.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's nippy.
Yeah,
All those
yeah.
multi-effects.
Yeah, and another thing that I thought was pretty cool about these are not my first 2 HP module. My first 2 HP module was the no pass filter, but that doesn't have a circuit board. Spoiler. But these have the same exact circuit board, which is pretty cool. So they just loaded different software on it, which is different firmware, which is pretty smart, I thought. And they're identical in layout. So
That's incredible. It's amazing that they could cram a sample player into the same chip hosting all those DSP effects.
Yes,
really cool.
it's pretty amazing. So hats off to you, 2HP. I will probably buy all of your joke modules because they make me happy.
You're buying into a really good company. The 2HP support is incredible. I bought a used module, and they repaired it for free and sent me, hopefully I don't jinx them and they have to do this for everyone else, but they actually sent me 2HP, like one of those Ninja Star multiples, like the external multiples, for free. And I put a $20 bill in the envelope with the directions in the module, and they gave me back the $20 bill.
Oh, like that's cool.
Yeah, they're so nice. 2HP has incredible customer service.
That is awesome to know. Yeah,
they're great.
Yeah, I've been nothing but overjoyed by their modules so far. And there's a few other modules that are on my list of theirs, so I won't only have their joke modules, but that's possible. I don't know. It depends on how much my wallet wants to burn.
Yeah, they have some really great stuff. The compressor. I really want to try the compressor.
The compressor, I've heard, I feel like it's their sequencer that gets raved about every once in a while for like a really minimal sequencer. Yeah, like things like that are just make me want to try them out. I hope to start at some point a module swap of some sort where you can just cycle through some modules here and there.
Sure. Yeah, especially the crazy ones that you wouldn't really think to purchase, but someone might have, like all the weird ones.
Yes, because you have the 2 HP compressor, good and functional. That's good to know, Robbie. Hey, J-Roo. Yeah. Let's see. I have so many modules on my mind right now. I don't even know where to start. Let's see. Clocks. We were talking about clocks earlier, and that actually was a topic on the DivKid Discord, sort of. DivKid's question does like a question of the day. I don't know if Stu J started it, but whoever started it, you rule, because it's where I get the most valuable information. And today, the question was what's the first thing you plug in, like on a blank slate patch? Like all your cables are pulled. Like, what are the first things you do? And there were a few folks that immediately said like something to do with clocks and mults. Yeah, you were one of them. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because I thought it was really interesting, because I am similar. Like, I'm not plugging in my clock, but my first thing is like plugging something into a mult. Like that's step one, is me plugging in this case, my lead voice, usually CV and gate, into mults. And
I think we do that for a reason. We know we're going to need it later. It's like the Boy Scout thing.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And I just thought it was funny. There were so many people that was like, plug X into mult, right? Like, you need it. Like, I know if I'm going to use like a lead voice with more than one oscillator, or even not, like my envelope generator, my ADSR, actually has 2 positive outs and 2 inverted outs, or 3 positive outs and 1 inverted out. And those 3 positive outs have never ever been enough. So those, like, that immediately goes into a mult. So yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And another thing that I hadn't thought about until Eurorack is when I asked about, like, hey, what are your favorite mults and buffered mults? And people are like, the stars, like use a star, or cables that split, or things like that. And that never even occurred to me, because I don't even know if that's a thing for 1/4 inch cables, outside of like, I have like one in here that's gigantic. It looks sort of like this, but mono. Just
not bad.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah, it'll do the job, but I just
you
loaded
kill someone with it.
It's like half the size of a nunchuck for scale, and the same weight. Yeah, I loaded this thing up with mults for a reason. Like, they're essential, and so I'm excited to try out this out-of-the-box multing scheme. Figure out which types of cables are my favorite. Work with Bartok to make some sick, like, weird mult cable thing.
He'd be up for it too. He'd love to. He's 100%. All about that.
Yeah, I just ordered a bunch of cables from Bartok, which I'm super excited about.
Sweet.
Guess what color they are?
Purple and green. Knowing you.
Purple and green is a sick color combo. It makes me think of the Ghostbusters. No, it's yellow, as usual.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know me. I'm into rainbow spaghetti. It's my thingy.
Yeah, I mean, I like rainbow on specific things, but for the modular, I found I needed to. It was my Zen mode where I stopped worrying about, like, do I color code the cables to length or type it? Like, I stopped worrying about that, so they're all the same color. But everything else, my mixer is full rainbow, organized in rainbow. My patch bay, I love the rainbow cables I have. Like, that's my little tiny cables for the Bastel stuff are all rainbow.
Lovely. You're gonna laugh at this. My DAW, the headers for the track inputs, the 8 inputs actually color coded the cables in physical hardware.
That is freaking awesome.
It's really funny.
Mine are not like that. They were briefly, but then I think I updated to like Live 11 or something, and then never opened it again. So I have no idea.
Nice. 11's great.
But
That's
even
sweet.
even my power cables, my DIY ones, because the Eurorack ones are too short, are all rainbow. So rainbow powered everything.
That kind of bothers me, actually, because only Endorphins does the rainbow cable that I noticed. It's like special to their brand specifically.
Right. So these ones I all made myself, so they're all the same.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's actually way easier than you would ever expect. You need a clamp of some sort and scissors. and that's it.
Wow.
But the
Cool.
thing that's weird about this that I have to think about is I made there's no, I don't know how close I need to be. Let's see. You see how there's no red stripe on the very end? There's actually a brown up here and then a
Okay.
black down here. So I made the call
Sure.
that black would be my red stripe. So I have to remember that. But keyed
Which is
headers
the
on all the
yeah,
stuff I built.
the opposite of ground. That's not confusing at all.
You're right. I didn't know that when I made the decision, but they're all consistent, so it's fine. And
All
they're all,
good.
all the ones I built are keyed, so it shouldn't. You'd have to like really work to mess it up. I can't say the same for some of the expensive modules I had. Looking at you, make noise. Some keyed headers on there. I know it adds like 0.5 millimeter, but do it. All right, Robbie had a good question. Like, any stories to share about live modular meetup events? I feel like you might have been to some based on that question, but I don't know.
One, yeah. How about you? Have you been to any?
I've never been to one. I was seriously considering going down to. There was one in Colorado last weekend
Cool.
that had a handful of like some of the coolest Denver locals and Richard Devine. So like you had Richard Devine and like
What?
Nasty Nachos and Aerophonic
Oh
and like
God.
several others. Like it was a sick lineup. Alex, I hope if you're ever watch this, I hope you're feeling better. Alex was hurt, but that would have been
Oh
a really
God.
good show.
Oh.
The problem is I'm like 2 hours away, so working out like how to get down there. It starts at 9 and back, and like my drive back was not looking good that night, so I decided not to go.
Safety first.
Yeah, I
Gotta
mean, I
do
got
it.
to cross like an 11,000 foot mountain pass at night, so
Oh.
I was like, nah, next time I'll do more
Yeah.
planning in advance. Because I really do want to go. Like, I really want to go to one of the like freak boutiques down at the fort and an event like that. Like, I would just love to hang out and talk modular and play with modular that aren't mine, like Robbie and I did that one time at that one
But
hacker place.
that you didn't take photos of.
I took a handful of photos.
I've
Let's
never seen
see.
them.
Oh, let's see here what I've got. Uh, Photos there, like particularly videos, they're a little. Let's see, it was in
You should
August, right?
upload them.
Well, I'm
We'd all
about to
love to
share
see
some
them.
right here.
All right,
Let's
all
see
right,
here. Let's
cool.
see here. Share screen.
You get out of jail.
Geez, how do I do this without like accidentally showing all of my photos? Uh, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. Let's just zoom in. Window. Photos. Yeah. Cool. And I'll share it. Make it. Okay, cool. It already went big. Nice job. Okay,
That's
so
Robbie's system. Beautiful.
that is Robbie's system. I actually brought like some other smaller things like the OPZ. And most of the time, we weren't the ones playing it. That's Matt Damon. Matt Damon came and play. What you see up on the left here is like a motorcycle helmet that somebody had built some LEDs into, which is pretty cool, structurally unsound, but looks really awesome. But what we did not realize is it was audio reactive. So they like came up and were like, "Hey, can I jack in my helmet?" We were like, "Fuck yeah!" And like as soon as he did it, it started lighting up to what was playing, which was pretty cool.
You had some nerds in the room.
Yeah, lots of people. That was their sound system. Which I mean, when you're in a hallway at 10 o'clock, sounds pretty good actually.
Yeah, that little speaker will rip. I've owned that one
Yeah.
before.
Yep, it does the job. And that was actually all. Oh, is this a video? I don't know if audio is coming through or not, but did you hear any of that?
There's no audio. Oh, look at
Oh.
that. He's got the diff kit random step. How cool. Oh, with the local florist. Dope.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Nice modules.
I don't think I can nix that audio, but there is a little audio. I can probably upload this one because there's no. I don't think there's any people in it. Yeah, so that was a blast. I want to check the chat because I'm sure Robbie's talking.
It's a gorgeous rack. Love that black side with the natural face. That's classy.
Hey CK, and yeah, and
Hey.
what doesn't carry through in the pictures is like how nice that case is. Like Robbie did a really good job on it. It's
Yeah.
very well done. Whereas mine, if you saw in person, would give you splinters just from like looking at it too close.
Same. You and me both gonna get rails soon. It's gonna
Heck
be good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked about the rails though. It's not really a thing for me to think about like being able to be like, oh, I don't really like where this module is all that much. I'm gonna move it here. Like, not a thing I can do easily.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna do sliding nuts, or are you gonna do the vector rails with this insert?
Yeah, so I'm doing vector rails. I already have the sliding nuts, so I'm going to start with those and some Bofaco knurlies. But I hear all the time that folks are very passionate about the sliding sort of rail nut things. So I'm going to try those eventually.
They're passionate both ways for the strip inserts versus sliding nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a problem with sliding nuts because I don't have that many modules and I'm not swapping them all that often, so I have no idea. If you're passionate one way or the other, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I'm definitely a sliding nut person.
I like that you can be really precise with it, although I assume you can be. It's probably close enough for the other. I don't know.
It's believe it or not, it's just in my eyes it's more convenient. But again, it depends on the quality of the rail that it sits in. If the rail that it sits in isn't tight or isn't precise, then it sucks.
Okay.
But if the channel's really well done, then it's a blessing. Okay.
Well, the rails I have currently are the same as what I'm getting, and they've been trivial to move around. They sit in nice. They slide as well as could be expected. Cool. And I mean, I've got the hang of like taking this little tiny screwdriver and like going, oops, and like sliding it behind where it needs to be. So,
knurlies are such a game changer with the screwdriver because you're like way up away from the module panel. There's no chance of you scratching it. You're so far up. You know?
Yes. I look forward to that. I have scratched all of my modules except for the Eurorack ones.
Honestly, I came really close a couple times too.
No, my Eurorack ones are good because of the knurlies. I only had 64 HP, so I was like, I'm gonna get spendy on the knurlies. They're gonna last me for the entire width of this panel. But they've been great. Like even the rails are held in by knurlies.
Dope.
Which is kind of cool. Robbie hates sliding nuts.
You hate the rails. The rails that you used were bad. It's not the nuts.
Spacing's not an issue because all our modules are in multiples of a fifth of an inch. By the way, I hate that division, but it's fine.
It's over my head.
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. It just took me a minute. Like, I had to look it up probably 100 times before I was like, okay, 1 HP is a fifth of an inch. I got this. I can do some math now. Woke ass also doesn't like sliding nuts. Yeah, it's probably like 50-50 or so.
No. I'm pretty sure I'm in the minimum. I'm pretty sure I'm what's the term? There's the majority and then the minority. Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority.
Well, I'm with you, bud. So far, I mean, I have no problems with them at all. Like, yeah, they're cool. CK, I'm glad you're here. I'm probably going to hit you up about black panels on specific modules that don't have black panels to see what I can do. Because, you know. And, synth news, module news. I'm really excited about the, what is it, Skylab? What do they call that thing again? The
Strymon reverb, sure.
Yeah, it's sick. Like, I was already thinking, like, I really want... this currently unplugged and sitting there useless pedal, but like better and in Eurorack format. So good job, Starlab. Yeah, Starlab. There it is.
So is that the Blue Sky or the?
It's the Blue Sky. Yeah. Okay. So it's like the cheapest version of their really nice reverbs, in my opinion. And I was also looking at the Magneto because it's black and sort of reverby.
And there's a sampler in it, like a looper sampler thing. I think CK
Yes, yes.
CK
So
will know.
the magneto has like different purpose, but I think for what I'm looking at, Starlab probably fits the bill pretty good. And CK's already asked for a black panel. They said no. CK, we're gonna have to get some panels made. We'll 100% go in. But it is a nice color. Like it is the nicest blue. And Magneto is the best. Great, 2 giant modules. I also really am curious. I want somebody who has both of them to look at the circuit boards on the back, because I imagine they're probably similar to the 2HP, or the same, if not identical, circuit board with different DSPs loaded. Which I mean, that's not dissing them. That's like engineering mastery right there.
Well, the Car Plus Strong engine on the new Skylab is
Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah.
It's definitely got some heat to it. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I fully agree. You have the Blue Sky 2 as an insert in your desk. That's smart. Like, I don't think I'm getting rid of the Blue Sky anytime soon, because it is a really nice reverb. It's just I'm in the middle of reorganizing some stuff, so it's not getting used. The ADD AC looper, granular, and it's a large module.
I want that one.
Nice.
The ADAC looper, yeah. Or ADAC.
Nice.
ADAC. I don't
The
know.
attic.
ADAC.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Blue Sky
Oh,
plus drummer from
yeah.
another mother. Yeah, I mean, like, that sounds like a really good combo. The DFAM is on my I would like this for my birthday list.
I'm actually letting Forstein borrow one of my DFAMs for a year.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. She said that she's gonna trade me a piece of art for it, so I can't wait. It's gonna be really great to frame it up and have it around. I like having like pieces of people's souls like around me. It's kind of fun.
Forrestine puts out some good art, in my opinion. One of my favorite was like this. I think it was an older drawing of hers, but of theirs. That was like a table. It was a table saw with like chicken legs. Like, I want that as a t-shirt. I want it as a hat. I want it as an album cover. It is the coolest thing, in my opinion. Extremely heavy metal. And CK, sell me your DFAM one day. I still have to send CK some cool stuff. Fun story, I made CK a really cool set of piezo inputs and broke them before I could even put them in a box. So I've got to rethink that strategy a little bit.
It's Carmageddon.
Yeah. Well, CK sent me one of a kind sticker to customize some blanks. So
You got some strikers. You can some strikers.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I gotta return the favor in some sort.
Yeah, CK didn't send me any stickers, so you know.
You gotta ask nicely, I think.
Gotta beg him.
And like sneak him into half your videos. Let's see. Can we all agree? Benjamin does have dope fashion sense. Like, that's a sick jacket, slim
Thanks.
tie. Yeah.
Appreciate
Hat
it.
just slightly off in the good way. Yeah.
Well, it hurts my head if I wear it any other way. It's because my skull is like misshaped, you know.
You know what? Even like beanies hurt my head after a while. It's amazing. It's also why I'm so like obsessed with AKG headphones. Please sponsor me to stream to 5 people. But they're the most comfortable headphones. I can wear them the longest before my head hurts.
Yeah, same. I'm rocking the I think they came from was it Austria? The white version, the 7 series, the 701s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. I like them.
And I have a 7 series black. I didn't know there was a white version. That's cool as fuck. Yeah, Benjamin again with this sick looking.
I got them cheap. I got them at half price. How can I say no? Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, they function perfect. I just picked this up. I just picked up a Mutable Warps, but it's the clone version that instead of being giant is a lot smaller. Instead of being like 12 HP, it's 6 or something.
Yeah.
So this is cool. This is actually very similar to the Cat. This is a multi-FX. It's a through zero FM oscillator, a delay, like sort of like when you want to delay signals versus audio, but it'll do
Yep.
audio. It's a bit crusher. It's also a frequency shifter where it will add like 100 hertz or 200 hertz or to an incoming signal. So
That's
it's
cool.
got all these effects in it, but it's digital. You know, it's got the ARM like back. It's like the ARM chip, the diagonal one, and you know, I can't wait to compare it to the Dope frequency shifter, the analog one that I pre-ordered from Perfect Circuit that everyone else should also pre-order.
That's pre-order.
Yeah.
Well,
It's cheap.
I've never thought about a frequency shifter because I'm typically using oscillators that have octave switches, but that's different than a frequency shifter. I don't know. I've never tried it. Definitely gonna have to try it. CK is saying they don't use the DFAM that much. All drums are now Queen of Pentacles samples and Unicorn Boom, and that's cool. I've been eyeing the Queen of Pentacles. Hey, CK, maybe next week or the week after, you should come on and just like rate my fucking modular grid and just like tear out the shit that is unnecessary. Because I feel like you've gone through all of the modules I'm eyeing and you know whether stuff is good or should just be replaced before I go through all that hassle. So hit me up if you want to do that. Let's see. There's a new collective today. Wait, what? CK and Travarsi.
Yeah, with an
Is it-
unannounced third person. They're going to announce it soon who the third SoCal member is.
Sick. I'm excited about that. Come on, Bartok. I have no idea. Yeah.
With the Bartok.
CK, you gotta hit. I need a link to that or something. Drop the news. I want to see this collective at some point. You know, talk about it right
I
now.
think it's somewhere on EMS. I'm pretty sure there's a link on EMS for you to check out later. What
Yeah.
channel has it been, CK? Let
Yeah,
Hex
that's
have
the
been.
problem. I'm only in
Yep.
I only look at like 3 channels. I don't know. I don't see it in Streampunk, so I have no idea. Are there other channels? Anyway, Queen of Pentacles is sick. Like it's one of those modules that if it had MIDI control, I would have bought it and taken out all of the modules I own just to put it in there because I want my drums in the box. Like that's the short answer. I want to be able to play a little more with them, and I like the Queen of Pentacles because it's more hands-on. Like it's like the tiny drum root impact basically. Like you got some control, some performable things you can do with it. So that's why I've been lusting over it.
Well, the Queen of Pentacles has also got the trimmer for the kick drum tuning on the backside. So that is I believe there's still like a soft tuning ability somewhere on the front panel. That's actually very similar to the proc kick drum algorithms that you can load, where you can sort of like soft detune, but it still has like a root note.
Yeah,
It's very common. It seems to be like a motif in kick drums.
Well, kind of. I mean, I think the pitch is an underrated thing with kicks. Like I'm always tuning the pitch on like on this bad boy. Like it's not fine. It's pretty good. It's maybe a half an octave or an octave, but it does the job. So
What kick drum is that?
that was the drum brute impact. You can't always see.
It sounds good.
Yeah, I mean it's a good drum.
No me gusta. Me gusta mucho.
Yeah, if you've got some good speakers, those lower notes like shake your core.
I've been using the WMD Crater because it's volt per octave.
Yes.
I mean, I still use the Jomux, which the Jomux 909 isn't volt per octave, and the Proc isn't volt per octave, but the WMD will do it.
I've been looking a lot at WMD as well. So what I ended up doing was like I picked out like a handful of WMD modules. So the Crater, the Kraken has my interest. There's a third one that I'm forgetting the
Crucible.
name of. The Crucible, yes.
Yeah.
Also there. And ultimately, I looked at that and the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm like, there's a lot of redundancy here for like a V1. So,
Well, you You say that, but in practice, there actually isn't. When it comes to percussion modules, they're so different one from another. It's
Oh no, I agree with you fully. It's more like step one, like get a good drum set, like starting drum set, and then build from there. Because I don't know what I'll need with this case. I don't have any clue. I've not built any drums in modular outside of the Ramble, and that's
it's
pretty
expensive.
self-contained. Yeah.
It's not only expensive, it's so much like trial and error to find a sound that you like. Like it's almost like it's annoying 90% of the time because it sucks. And then you finally get it hit in right and you're all angsty about it because it's, it costs like $2,000. Like, oh, now I like it, but fuck my life. Oh, sorry, we can edit that out later. So I just bought
I think the F word's fine.
Sorry, so I actually just got a little perfect circuit unboxing.
Oh, live unboxing. Hold on.
Yeah, live unboxing. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. You guys are gonna.
What's gonna be in here? We've got the label on there, cutting the direction towards yourself. That's no judgment. Yeah, don't do that on camera.
That's all right. So they are both from the same manufacturer, which is actually really fun. Both of them are coming from Chaos Devices.
Okay, Chaos Devices.
Super fucking fun. Finally getting Chaos, in my rack more than just one module. And I really want the Tirana as well. It's like a 4-step sequencer. That one's super dope. Just because it's incredibly slutty with the huge knobs and whatnot. So the first one from Chaos is I think it's pronounced Sarajevo or something. And
Sarajevo?
Yeah, I think so. It's a delay. It's I think it's like 3-tap bucket brigade delay.
Okay.
Should be cool. It was cool. For sale at the Perfect Circuit sale recently, so I couldn't say no. Yeah, it was incredibly cheap for what it does. And the bucket brigade is something that I've always enjoyed the most from my DIY stuff. Anytime that I DIY'd a bucket brigade, it always sounded better than something like a PT2399 or even the tube stuff. And then the other, it's just they sound the best. They get darker with the repeats. It's cool. The other one is the Odessa, the harmonic oscillator, similar to the SMR by 4MS.
Interesting. That one I haven't listened to yet. That'll be a cool one to hear when you stream it.
I need to pick up the expander. The expander has like multiple outputs from it, but this is going to be a lot of fun. You're just having a Spectrum oscillator should be enjoyable.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, bucket brigade is something I have no experience with. The 23399s I have plenty of experience with, which is why the Alessandro Cortini and Make Noise did a collaboration called what's that thing called? It's like it looks like the No-Cos but different. Shoot, I cannot remember the name of it. Make Noise. Thank you, internet. Help me out here.
Oh, the Strega.
The Strega, yeah. So they made the Strega, and that one's got some 23399 delays in there. And I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I've got that right there, 3 of them. So we're sick, we're done. I could make all of those noises, but yeah, the Strega's cool. For those of you who don't have 23399, you can get pretty gnarly with it. And while they didn't go as gnarly as the one I have, in terms of the low end of it, like if I, here, let's just show you. If I turn that on and put a...
You have to pan up your camera.
Like, the knob goes pretty low.
Cool.
So, yeah, I love that thing.
What are these chips? I think it says X5 audio. Those are the chips they're using for the MN clones.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to read the number and look them up. But that's
it's X5, XVIVE, X5 audio.
Okay.
So it's definitely an MN series, like the MN 3005, MN 3004 clone. It's definitely a Bucket Brigade clone, but it's like a modern, probably a more stable, cheaper to make one that they bought the rights to or some bullshit, But it'll be fine. Yeah. And then this is the backside of the other one. Let's see what the backside of the Odessa is.
See, these are the photos I want because I'm really interested in the circuit boards, mostly because there's usually pretty cool
Same.
art, which is not.
This one has a fucking sailor on it.
That's cool.
On the
And a
Odessa.
shrouded header. Good job, Keed. Nice job. They didn't hold. Oh, wait, there's another unshrouded one, but I think that's probably for something else. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's cool.
there's an expander for the outputs. They have like a third, fifth, or some sort of a chord shape output.
Cool.
It's not bad.
Some trim pots. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's well designed. Sorry for leaving you big for so long. I did not notice.
I don't mind. It's fine. Just means I can't drink wine off camera. So.
Yeah. I already finished my beer. It's been a good one. Next,
No.
I'll get a real beer. What should I get? Trout Slayer has been in there too long. I'll have some of that.
Good looks.
All right.
I also picked up one of these recently. I just recently picked up the BoardBrain OPTX. The TOS link is basically like the ES8 or 9 with the digital in and out. But this is the way that it's audio. But it's audio in and out. It's bidirectional.
So it's essentially an audio interface, right? To and from your
exactly.
computer.
With the ADAT light pipe cable. So it's a TOS link with the light pipe connection. So
that'll be really cool. You should
fun.
be able to do some nice sends and returns, like if you wanted to run like an Ableton Valhalla or something.
Yeah. That's actually the 100% use for it is just getting like a bunch more interrelated pitch and gate data through effects, and it's all coming in at the same time. So the whole tracking shares pitch and gate, but it's going through effects. So you can mix it easier because it's all recorded at the same time.
Right. I've done some things like that. My mixer makes it really convenient to do that, so that's the only way I've been able to do it. But that's pretty cool. Like I'm excited to see what you do with it. How many channels in and out is it?
That extends my Fireface UCX from typically 8 to 16. It adds another 8.
Oh, cool. That's plenty.
It's overkill.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly.
Yeah, I know the feeling. That's the same with my mixer. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? We should have like a module art episode where we just pull some cool modules and show them, because like all of the backs of these Cosmo modules have really cool art. I actually have some out. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. Let's see here. Let's zoom in. Like these are cool. This is the LFO, Look Mom No Computer LFO. Pretty decent front. That's what you usually see. But the back actually has like a yellow. It's kind of hard to see. Yellow circuit board with all sorts of like drawings on it that are hard to see because it's yellow. But the other ones, the newer ones, say I'm switched to black, so you can see there's like usually like asteroids or some computer game or something going on the back, which is pretty cool. So that's typically what the back of these look like. And poorly soldered with shrouded headers. There's a bigger one with some more stuff. Also hard to see, sorry. But I think the art's even cooler on the back than on the front on a lot of these, so I don't know. Just thought I'd show somebody since it's not pictured anywhere. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, the art and aesthetics are like 100% part of the decision-making process for me. Like, it has to look cool, it has to sound cool, and it probably should be black, not necessarily in that order. But I'm going to drop that black rule for the Eurorack stuff if there's really good modules. So, yeah, let's see. I've also been looking at some bigger effects modules. That hasn't been something that I'd even toyed with the idea of until recently. Like there's the what is that thing? It's like ECM distortion, something like that. There's some electromechanical, maybe it's electromechanical, that sounds right. Electromechanical distortion, Eurorack.
Electromechanical distortion? What is that like?
Retromechanical, there we go.
Okay. I was gonna say, I thought you were talking fundamental. It's a brand.
No, it's the brand. Let me see.
Yep. Yeah, it's the big one with the VU meters.
With the view meter, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just grab a image of that.
Yeah, Colin Benders has two of them, and I nicknamed it the Silver Surfer. I unofficially nicknamed Colin Bender's rack because it's silver.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me share tab.
He's got two in it. It's insane. I can't believe it. He must really like the sound.
And is that even showing? No, it's so weird. This software is so bad. And I'm big still. Yeah, so it looks like this. I don't know why. Oh, am I looking at the wrong search? Yeah, it's this thing. Oh, no. Well, you get the idea. It's this crazy thing with a view meter. That's a gigantic panel that I never would have considered before. And weirdly, it's not as expensive as other modules. So, do you have a name for your rack? That's a good question.
I don't yet. My rack is still developing. I can't name it yet. What would I name it? Oh man, like I don't know. Wallet's Bane.
Yeah, CK. That's the one. That's probably gonna be one of the first modules I get is that distortion because I don't know, I'm a sucker. Yeah, it's naming a rack. Naming anything is hard for me, so it takes a lot of time. I sort of copped out and basically called it the equivalent of like if I had a Euro rack, I would have called it like Euro rack. Like mine's called Cosmo because it's a Cosmo format rack.
Cool. Very cool.
But it probably needs an actual name at some point. So
maybe like house down payment.
House down payment. The equivalent of a car.
Yeah.
Car with no wheels. Here we go.
Like 1/10 of my life.
Sam would be good, but then I'd have to swap out my big white button for a big red button, I think, right? I don't know. Fred. Come on, Fred, let's make some music. Oh, it's muted. Never mind, Fred, you're good. I don't know about Fred.
So,
Hal, there you go.
I picked up my second Muton recently. I have two of these. This is an 8-to-1 versus 1-to-8 mixing interface with push button mutes and a VCA. So you can mute each channel on the audio input. But then
so it's essentially an 8-channel VCA mixer with Yeah.
Anywhere that you interrupt the individual in to a breakpoint, with the outputs will change. So you can mix 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6. You can mix it.
I will 100% be looking that up because that's exactly what I use, but in bigger format. The ones I built are almost identical with the exception that they're only 4 channels, and they have switches for muting and inverting. So like if I want the VCA just to be open, I can invert it instead of expecting a signal. Or there's also a master like volume at the end of the chain. But I really I can't express how useful being able to pull signals out of that to go somewhere else and back in is, like constantly doing that. I wish all mixers did that. And now that I'm looking at Eurorack mixers, I'm like, it doesn't have that feature, so maybe not. But that looks like it would fill the void pretty compactly.
Yeah, the SSF, it's discontinued, so you're going to be paying top dollar. But if you can, they come up used for like $220, $240.
Well, yeah, I'm a patient person on eBay and Reverb. I just put up some like alerts and hang out for months.
Oh, they're going in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. That's why I put alerts
Okay.
on. Like, that's how I've gotten some of my gear. If I want something, that's what I do. Especially discontinued, which is my least favorite word for things that I want to buy.
I think I'm still big. Do you want to talk together on stream?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I can't drink.
The problem is with this interface is that it still shows me my camera as well. So unless I remember, I don't notice it as much. Anyway,
that's
cool
fine.
one. Because I'm doing all these hand gestures and no one gets to see it.
The back of the squid sample is a giant. The squid sample. It's a giant ASCII squid.
That is sick and makes me like, if someone had told me that, the Rample might not be in my case right now.
Sell it. You should really get one of these. Just load it up with like stupid, like, you know, like Millennium Falcon, like Star Wars sounds and like a bunch of katanas and like Japanese kodos, and just load it up with a bunch of crazy shit. And why not?
Well, I already have a backup of the Rample sounds, and that was the thing I love the most about the Rample. So I could probably, probably have to format them, but I could probably load those in.
You should get a squid. You can record into it.
Here's the question. The thing I love the most about the Rample, other than the preset samples that I'm never going to fuck with, like they're so good, are that on one channel I can have like any number of samples, any length, and when I hit that, I can make it randomly select samples on that channel. So I could have 8 different kick drums that sound similar, but then when I'm slamming the kick drum button, right, or trigger or whatever, it cycles through them, and you can set it to be in a specific order. You can set it to be random. I like random because it adds like sort of a human feel. But that's the thing that I love the most about it. So
I was listening to your sets earlier. You're definitely a Rample power user.
Yeah, I'm a Rample power user for
It's impressive.
Sure. I'm a little worried about it. I'm afraid that what happened to somebody I saw was talking about the Rample SD card, like sounds slowly stopping to working, and I'm afraid that might happen to me too. I'm not really clear on why that would happen, but there's a couple cases.
Yeah, just a card failure. Gotta be.
It's gotta be. I wonder if they're just like, I don't know why they would be, because I don't think there's any reason to write to the card other than maybe like the save settings, and that only happens when you trigger it. But like, I don't know why there would be card failure unless it's just reading too much too fast. Because like on my Amen break, it used to be 4 voices, and now there's only 3. So something's up there.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I have it backed up, CK, so I can just load up another card or reset things or whatever needs to happen. So I'm not super worried about it. Because after you spend an hour fucking with samples to get them in the right format, which is non-trivial, and like trimming them and all that fun stuff, you don't want to lose that, so you just back up the whole thing. But it's cool. Like, I really do like the Rample. There's a couple of things I would definitely change about it, like I don't like the controls at all. I guess that's a big feature. I don't like the controls at all, but it's such a good module, I don't care.
Maybe they'll do a V2 soon and correct all that. You should give them input any way that you can.
Happily. I mean, I've given them some feedback and suggestions here and there for the pyramid, so I should do it with the Rample now that I've I know that.
Yeah. I bet you the V2 is like a squid killer. Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, like the squid is awesome. Like, I've seen and heard many people play it, but like the Rample is my jam. Like, that fits me well. I like what it can do, and I'm good at what it does, if that makes sense.
Well, the features you're describing sound like being able to cycle through randomly through the kick drum samples. The randomization is a huge selling point.
It's huge. Like, let me turn the catnip off for a second, and then I think you should be able to hear. So like, these are all the same, but I think on, like, if I go to, I don't know, C2 or something. You can hear like,
oh, it's dirty.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's sick.
Yeah.
So I love it. This is a short answer. Like, if it fails an SD card, fine, I'll just get another SD card. But I love it to the point where I was considering getting another one, even though I don't like the controls very much. Like, I think they try. I think Hermod, or not Hermod, Squarp does like. I think their Achilles heel is making things do too much. Is the short of it.
The other thing that you haven't mentioned yet is the interface. It's a lot more robust and accessible than the Squid.
Yeah, to an extent, but like I said, I don't really love it because there's a few things that, like, it takes a few seconds to make a change. Like, I have to lean down a little bit, see which button I'm hitting, and then I have to adjust the knob and, like, remember to do that each time. And that
that's
me.
anything.
Yeah,
that's any module.
Well, but the thing is, I have to press a button first. So, like, if I want to change the filter, I have to press filter, and then all these knobs control the filter. Or if I want bit crushing, I press the bit crush button, right? So my much preferred interface with it is I like that there's CV in that you can assign to whatever you want. That is cool, and they should keep that. So, for example, in this case, I have if I go to let's see here. Let's get out of this. What did I do? Let's go to, I think, let's go to Furby's.
Favorite.
L0, right? We should be on Furby's now. So my door stopper mangles the sound because it's CV controlling the pitch.
Oh, that's hardcore.
Which I love the sound of. And over here, I have this second ears, because ears are fun, set to the free. So if I, which is really, really good with any kind of kick or snare drum. Like, it essentially stutters it. So those are my preferred controls for it. So they have really good CV control and like, you can just designate what it does, whether it's bit crush or whatever. I'm going to read the chat real quick. Sorry, this looks great.
Do it up.
Too many VCOs. How many VCOs is too many? Because I have a lot, and I don't think it's too many yet. How many VCOs do you have, do you think? You don't even have to count.
No comment.
CK, that's a bummer that the Distings X Plus doesn't have an SD card that's fast enough. Second piston Honda Mark III. Piston Honda is another name I hear a lot, but I haven't even ever looked up.
Oh yeah, complex oscillator. It's like a wavetable complex.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I remember it now. I have actually listened to it.
I think that Harvest Man is the industrial electronic machines. It's Seattle. I think it's Seattle. What's that guy's name? He's in my email. Yeah. What's their name? I totally forgot.
All right, Piston Honda. I'm gonna have to look up and add to my case because if CK says it's his favorite module, it's pretty high praise.
Mark III. You got to get the Mark III specifically.
Mark III Piston Honda. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Because I was looking up oscillators earlier today. Just while I was working, I was listening to a bunch of videos on them. Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't think there's too many oscillators, by the way. Like, I think you just run out of things to do with them. But like, I think I've got like 14. No. Well, 14 like VCOs. I've got a bunch of LFOs too. Plus sub oscillators. I think those VCOs. Yeah, 14. 16 if you count the sub oscillators, but I don't know if you count those. Essentially double up. Yeah, there's no such thing as too much. Like when I'm doing drones, that shit kicks.
I think you got more VCOs than me. 14.
10 of them are in one module, so that's sort of cheating.
You still have more than me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, let's grab one cable and do it quick. do you turn that down because I don't allow it's going to be. It's a little out of tune because I haven't tuned it in a while, but you get the idea.
Oh, it's a
That
swarm.
thing is a boss. Yeah, it's very swarmy, and I love it. Highly recommend anything like that. Like, you get that in tune just the way you want it, and detune it just a hair, and you've got a solid core for some drone or like really melodic stuff. Like, there's your root note. Go. And it is voltage control, but like right now I've got it set up so they're all different capacitors, which changes the way they tune, like how the tuning rate. So that's why it does the THX effect. I built it so that I could swap the capacitors on the back.
Yeah, you definitely have a thick sound. It's really cool hearing you go full on like hypercore, thick, ballistic, big. You have a big sound, which is nice.
Sometimes. Reverb can cheat at that though. Once you get your all your voices piped into and out of your computer, you could like send like a significant amount of your audio through like the same reverb and crank that up slowly, and all of a sudden your voice like thickens really big. That's another cheating tip.
Yeah, and you can take that a step further with low pass, like cutting off bass.
Yes.
And to send it up to heaven, but you have to counter that with bass heavy shit to like bring it in and fade it out. You know the drill.
Yeah, and I'd say even if you have a good like a good 4 to the floor something going, right? Like if you crank up that reverb, let everything get real big, and then cut it, whether it's high, like whether you've got that filter or not. Like if you cut it immediately and change up your sequence just a bit to be like pull out a few voices, so you just got the kicks and some other like one other thing, it hits hard. Like it's good.
And it's real time control, which is what counts. You can respond to it musically.
Yeah. Wavetables, like I'm not fully sold on yet because I haven't spent a lot of time. I think they're like samples in that I have to just like invest some time up front to have a lot of payoff later. I do have like wavetables on the XD, and the Micro Freak now has some custom wavetables and stuff, but I haven't really explored that too much. They're talking about wavetable.
Cheers.
Oscillators.
Salud.
Cheers.
Salud.
Yeah, this is a little harder of a beer than my White Claw earlier.
Cool. We'll turn that into a kick later. Call it the Hex 7 burp kick.
Oh my gosh, that is right up my alley.
What episode is this? Is this episode 30 or 31? Did you do an episode last week?
I did an episode last week. I don't.
So that was 30. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we're 31, right?
We're 31.
Even better.
Why not? Cheers. Salute. It's episode 31.
Mm-hmm. A nice sound prime number. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Let's see. VCO is 3340. Yeah, 3340 VCOs are my jam. Like that was one of the things that I was sort of like I was listening to a lot of videos, like I said earlier today, like just in the background, and I felt myself like missing like really simple oscillators, if that makes sense. Like I understand the appeal of complex oscillators, and while I think they'd be really fun to play with, but I do like there's something sort of magical about a really like couple of really dumb oscillators slightly out of sync, like they just with a little filter, and you're just in. I'm in heaven. So yeah, 3340s. That's what's in these.
There totally is.
Yeah,
there definitely is. Especially when you introduce things like amplitude modulation and ring modulation, wave shaping. If you can get them to link up in like a new spectrum of connectivity, that's where the magic is.
And last Saturday morning, I think, or was it Sunday morning? One of the mornings this last weekend, I was sort of streaming, like showing off, like just me exploring the data bender, the beta bender, But in the process, we ended up like playing a little bit with my oscillators, and like there's so much more I've got to do there that I'm excited about to try. So both with the sync input and the FM, I think I can do some really nice sounds. Like I just had never thought to try some of these things. Like
you can make super saws with just like a square, triangle, and a saw with like 2 VCAs. You can do like a really primitive super saw sound.
Yes.
And it rips.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's something look forward to the next few videos once I've got some time, because I enjoy just trying that. So I'll be doing that soon. Tides morphs between shapes and is digital.
Tides is slutty.
I don't think morphing between shapes is the same as wavetables.
At audio rate though, if it's audio rate, who can tell the difference?
No, it's gonna have a similar sound. Technically, a digital module with basic shapes is a wavetable oscillator, but functionally,
Does it? But does it respond to volt per octave? Can you FM it? Can you AM it? Can you low pass gate it? In one module is the question. Like I want everything in one module.
Well, I can do. I can't do low pass gate. I have some, but they're shelved right now because I wasn't using them. They're passive. I can do a lot. So it's got multiple outputs. So it's got square, triangle, and saw outputs. You can use all of them at the same time. It's got a sync input, FM input, a volt per octave input, a CV input for the fine-tune pitch, a PWM, most importantly. So you can do quite a lot. And it's also got, every oscillator has a built-in tuner and Octave Switch, which I love the sound of.
That's the same on the Batelier. The Birdkids Batelier has similar features. It's really nice.
Yeah, and actually I'm looking forward to trying some modules. There was a module I tried of Robbie's that had an Octave Switch, which was pretty fun, but it was different for me because I'm sort of used to like, just from the action of the MS-10s, Octave Switch, and those, they're rotary switches. So I'm used to like,
sure. You
touch a note and you crank it, and these are like little switches, like 3-way switches. So I got to get used to that motion, which I think could be cool. I think you could probably do a lot faster modulation on those, or not modulate, like manual switching, I guess.
The name of the game is musicality. In the moment when you jump an octave, you just got to be able to grab it and jump. So
and that's there was another module I was looking at that I completely blanked on. Has an octave switch. It's essentially you send your pitches in, and it's an octave switch for like multiple oscillators, essentially, which would be really nice because in this case I've got like two oscillators on my lead voice, right? And if I want to do something like let's go to the MS-10. Let's get that. Just a second. It's gonna make you friendly. I want to do something like.
Yeah, wicked fun.
Right, like that's a terrible example. Like,
It's not terrible. It's really fun.
There we go. Right, like if I want to do something like that, I need 3 hands, right? Like, so that's why I'm excited about this module that sort of does that. ALM's Beast Chalkboard. Shockmod. I feel like you're just saying names now.
Yeah, who said to buy a Beast Chalkboard?
Santiago Peraza.
All right.
Hi, Santiago.
Santiago, are you on the Discord?
No, this is the EMS. I don't know if they're on the Discord. Join the EMS Discord.
Yes or no question. You can just do a Y or an N. You should join the Discord.
Santiago, are you on the Discord? We have to wait 20 seconds. Oh, yes. Yes, Santiago's on the Discord. Great.
Cool. Good.
Good.
Yeah, Beast Chalkboard is really nice. I think that you can do like a lot of shit digitally with octaves that are more approachable using the Droid. It's the the digital module. I think if you want to start getting into octave switching, there's a lot of digital options that are more powerful than analog ones.
I actually don't care at all about analog or digital. I respect analog because that's primarily my playground right now.
Same, totally. Analog is all about convenience. But
like, there's a reason I like the Micro Freak, and it's the sound and like the crazy things you can do because it is digital.
I kind of want a Platts.
Platts, yeah.
I really do, because it seems like you can do really cool sound design stuff with it. The people I've spoken to who use it, and even the performances I've heard, it's got an articulation that's incredible. Like the chord mode is so glassy and like infinite sounding. It's impressive for a digital to sound bottomless, and that's what chords mode sounds like to me. It's just, it goes forever. It's beautiful.
That's cool. That's great.
It's musical.
I mean, that one's already on my list. I feel like I need to buy some Mutable Instruments modules.
Get warps.
Well, that's already on my list.
Definitely get warps.
I mean, they're on my list along with the black panel replacements, but but I have a huge amount of respect for Mutable Instruments and the open sourcing they've done of a lot of their, I mean, almost every single module except for what's the latest one? Beads, I think, is open source, which is hard. Like, that's a really hard thing. Like, there's all sorts of clones, so I'd like to support Mutable Instruments and get a few like legit modules when I can.
I would too. The ones I would get legit are definitely, I already bought Beads. That was kind of like, besides the VCAs, my first Mutable Instruments modules were the VCAs. I had veils and blinds, and those two modules I ended up selling only because they were a little bit too big. But the Mutable Instruments that stuck around was, believe it or not, the recent Beads, and I think that's about it. Yeah, Beads. Beads is like the only one I have at the moment besides a clone. You know, I got a clone, but
it's okay.
Yeah, I really blades. I got X2 blades. The blades the filter makes sense, but I also have Pachinko marbles. The marbles is excellent.
I'll probably braids. Thomas AD mentioned braids with resonance, and I've always liked the sound of that. But
yeah, it's a macro oscillator.
That one's actually going to have to wait until I get another, like, work on some power supply for another Cosmo case, because I actually have a Cosmo adapter panel for braids, so that'll actually make it into a Cosmo format, which will be kind of cool.
Yeah, braids is like in a weird spot. It's like semi-complex because it can do complex shit.
Yeah.
Braids is a pretty cool one. Braids and Platts, I'd say if you get both of those, like, why not? They're both so good.
Those would be cool to have. Platts for sure. Braids for sure. Warps is on my list. I don't know. I have to learn more about it before I make any calls there.
A digital frequency shifter. How can you say no? A through zero FM oscillator. It's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to find out if it's something I would use regularly, right? Like, that's sort of.
It's $200, and you get a through zero.
Okay, okay, fine.
Okay, you're getting a warps.
I guess I got like 2 joke modules for a little less than that, so I should probably just get warps.
You're getting a warps.
3 joke modules for more than that.
Frederick Foxtrot uses a warps.
I know, that's where I learned about a lot. Like, just that's who showed me the ropes on warps on I think on Saturday night. I said this is actually Frederick used warps. No shit. Pretty cool. Crazy. And the Turing machine I hear a lot of good things about, but the thing about that is I like repeatability because I don't always have a lot of time to find a sweet spot. So I like to be able to turn my machine off, go away, come back an hour later, turn everything back on, and be able to reproduce what I was working on. I don't know if Turing machine can do that, but I know Turing machine is one of those things that I think you have to sort of find a sweet spot, like a sweet sequence or whatever it's putting out, you know?
Well, the whole thing about Turing machine is that that doesn't matter. It being repeatable doesn't matter because you just lock in something where it's kind of like a module. I like to use it as a modulation source for step count. If you use it as a modulation source for step count on trigger sequencers, it's very like it doesn't matter, but it's
Yeah,
still
that's
enjoyable.
cool. Yeah, like on a filter or something. I mean, that's similar to how I use that sequencer a lot of the time. It's actually almost as random because I very rarely pay attention. I'm just like half the time I'm not even turning the knobs on the right circle. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good point.
The
I just
Turing
gotta
machine
be more comfortable with random, I think.
Yeah, random has a ton of like outboard ways to apply it, like quantizers and step sequencer input amounts. There's a lot of ways you can interpret random. But for me personally, I really enjoy using it in like quantized forms. It's just a lot more approachable. If it's lockable, if you can lock random and lock random looping, then it's a performance aspect.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, it feels like to me, I would want like two modules, like a Turing machine plus a module that could record the CV output of that loop and then save that state, which is totally doable.
When you have a ton of gates that are correlated to that locking of the random looping, and everything's based off that gate pattern, like kick drum, filter, it's so musical. If you just get everything connected to one point, it's insanely enjoyable to use.
You got to show me this stuff. Like, you got to stream how to do this, because like to me, this feels like sort of venturing into the territory of why I didn't use the morphogene that much, because it just took me a while to dial in to where it was like, and I don't want to spend any time dialing.
Morphogene kind of sucks. It depends on if you just have to be really patient with the output. If you're really patient with the output of morphogene, then it's awesome. If you're impatient with it, it's gonna like bust your balls. So,
I mean, the morphogene's great. Like when I use it, like with my ukulele or with my little, I made a little crappy version of the what's it called, music box module. Like I made a Cosmo version. Like anything like that in a morphogene, no matter what you do, is gonna sound good. Like the right sounds into it. So I think if you're using like physical modeling oscillator, like Sound Source or something like that, it can be instantly magical without any work. But most of my stuff is not that.
Yeah, I feel you. The morphogene for me is sort of like if you could picture the hip hop icing on the cake. Like I've got kick drum, I've got snare, I've got hi-hats. How am I going to make this hip hop? The morphogene is sort of like that pop, like hip hop sound, because it does like octaving. It does +2 octave. So like, so you can get that locked in with a shared clock of the main synth going into it, which is like some fairy, like, you know, girly, not necessarily
it's
female,
like sparkly.
But so you input something into it that's light. In other words, not like bass heavy, something very like top end heavy with a sinusoidal characteristic to the waveform.
Yeah.
If you put that into morphogene, it will spit out something 2 octaves higher than it, which just, to me, it's very hip hop. When you take something sinusoidal, something vocal, something sort of high register, like a female vocal, and you jump it up 2 or 1 octaves, it's just so hip hop.
I found it pretty cool, like to do that. Like that was almost always dialed in around there, especially because it could take, like a lot of my stereo modules, like it can take a mono signal. You crank it up to that specific magic moment where you go up an octave or even 2 octaves, and then you all of a sudden have some stereo randomness along with the octave, and you're in like a magical spot.
When it hits the reverb, if you can freeze that, it's like ambience heaven.
Yeah.
That you have to have a really long reverb tail with morphogene, but like catching those octave jumps, and that's where like the harmonic heaven just hits, and it's gorgeous. It's enjoyable beyond belief because it's like Happy Accident City. It's off the hook.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but you have to be patient.
Right. Morphogene is an amazing module. Like it's one that I don't regret selling. but if I ever see one slightly broken for $200, I will buy it, fix it. Because it is fantastic. Like, it's a great sounding module. It just, like you said, requires it's a sweet spot module. You really need to dial in
it's
the sweet
stupid
spots.
patience. You have to add it last, which isn't very immediately rewarding at all.
Right. You can do like some granular stuff with it too. Like I've done, I tried, like, I basically went through the manual and tried everything, which is not, it's not a light manual, and it's not always the easiest to parse, but like I even dialed it in for one performance where I was using volt per octave as literally volt per octave, and that was a trick to get just right.
Even the audio data going into it, if you don't track it as a sequence, like locked to the bar, it doesn't sound good. Like you have to feed it the audio and then track it correctly to capture it with the clocking. It's such a pain in the ass, but it really sounds good.
Now there are some folks that like excel at it. Like I think I've seen on several Freak Boutiques people like master Morphogene almost as like a delay module, like a crazy delay that does other sparkly cool stuff.
Totally.
Like I think Sign Mountain did it a few times. Like, it's, when you see it and it's done well, it's awesome. It's hard to top. Bloom. What's Bloom? Tell me. Oh, that's the other.
It's like a marbles.
It's a sequencer, right?
But it's beyond marbles. It's actually got a better algo.
Yeah. Somebody was telling me who, I don't remember. I feel like somebody else within EMS or somewhere was talking about Bloom and saying they ended up selling it because it was noisy, or there was something they didn't like about it specifically, and I can't remember what it was.
Well, Bloom is a CV and a gate generator. It's basically a random sequencer.
Right.
So it can't have a sound.
Well, I mean noisy in that it added it added noise to their system in like a feedback way. You know,
the only modules that'll add noise to your system are high gain distortions, and that's only because they're too close to the power supply.
Well, and they're just amplifying the noise that's already there. I understand that if I flip my distortion on, like, you're gonna hear like a higher,
because it's high gain.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
It's high gain.
I love that on all of the distortion module sites that I saw, they were all like in big letters. They were like, you might think your system is quiet until you flip this on. I'm like, yeah. I don't care. By the time I flip this on, there's enough noise you won't hear it.
You know what you can do? Those modules that are noisy, just isolate them for a send, and that's where they excel. You send them like a bass channel for the high gain, and I swear to God, bass and high gain is like a match made in heaven. It's so good for a send with all the chord data and pitch data.
Well, you know what I think? I'm a firm believer that a bypass switch is hold on. Pretty good one. A bypass switch is seemingly boring, but I don't see it on enough effect pedals. Effect modules. When I was looking, like, that's a key thing for me, is to be able to immediately bypass something. So in my rat modular, for example, I just flip a switch and it's bypassed, just like a foot pedal, right? Like, it's instant. And I cannot say how useful that is. Like, my triple delays, my triple splashback delay, like, there's always audio going into it. It's got a bypass. And even if I stop playing, like, and turn it on, like, you'll hear whatever echoes that were going through it just start right there, right? Like, super useful and performable. So manufacturers, it's worth the space.
The name of the game for you, if you actually like that, is CV over dry wet. You got
CV over dry wet, or there's modules like I think DivKit has one. It's not mute. It might be mutes or something like that, where you can like send it through like a manual switch, basically. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
The new version of basically DivKit had the mutes module released recently with a new hardware. Basically, the new DivKit mutes has 5-volt output on the switch outs, so you can use it as a switchable offset with off or 5-volt instead of just being audio.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
the
pretty
new div
smart.
kit.
That's clever because then you can
It was,
multi-purpose it. Yeah.
the old div mutes didn't have it. The new div mutes has like a hardware update to be gate instead of just nothing. You
Now,
can
I mean, that's really cool. Like, I'm stoked about that. That's a huge upgrade in my opinion when you can multi-purpose it like that,
yeah.
and use that 5 volts essentially to turn something off or on. Uh, but what I was gonna say, like that the difference between that and it being on the module is memory, right? Like, I don't always remember how I've patched something up, and that's something I have trouble with. Like if I'm using one of my mixers or something, right? Like it takes me a second. Whereas like if I'm gonna flip on or off the rat module, it's on the module. I know exactly where it is. I can do it really fast. So that's why I
Sure.
like it on the module. I understand there's not always space, but if you have a little bit of space, on off switch, super
Well,
useful.
the nice thing about the DivKit module is that it's dual function. It's not
Yes,
only on or off audio, it's also on or off gate,
right,
5 volt.
I mean, it's that's the reason. Like that one was a no brainer to put in my future case. Like that one's already in
Yeah.
the to buy list. Um, Partly because DivKit is rad, and I would like to send them money, more money, and also just because it's a very useful module. I can see a use for it
Well,
heavily all over the place.
I don't mean to talk shit about DivKit, but did you notice how DivKit stopped releasing videos? You wonder why. Is it because there's no demand for the module makers, or because no one asked them for a vid? You wonder why the DivKit video stopped, coming every month.
I don't know. I think we'll get an explanation eventually, but from I think there's a lot of speculation we could do. But my instinct here is either DivKid is working on other projects, which is entirely fair. Making these videos takes a lot of time and effort. Like really, you have to do a lot of editing. It might be a 30-minute video or even a 20-minute video, but that's like 12 hours of editing and like that's if you're good and like that kind of
If
thing.
you're
So
lucky.
like
Yeah.
I think folks burn out, right, is the short answer. And I don't know if DivKid's burn out. For all I know, DivKid is making like 10 awesome
No,
modules right now.
that's the perspective.
Right. So like I'm not too worried about it. I hope DivKid's doing well. But yeah,
Same.
they just posted more videos are coming soon. Also, DivKid's like one of the more recent videos I watched a couple nights ago was like, or maybe it was last night, was the contest. And that was, I forget who sponsored it, but it was like, DivKid was like, I provide you with samples, you take samples and make sick finished track out of, make a video of it, and we'll, submit it in this contest. And they got like 500 like 500 tracks. Like that's like 500 tracks times, I don't know, probably an average of 3 or so minutes, right? Like that's a lot of time to listen to music and think critically. So like perhaps that contributed as well.
It's impossible. It's a passionate fan base.
Yeah.
Like really passionate.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. If I'd seen that contest, I might have like put 2 samples on my rample and like called it good and made a track.
For sure. Totally.
But yeah, DivKids, like I hope they're doing well. So yeah,
There seem
and
to be.
I always do wonder why would people go quiet. Like Magpie did too, and is still somewhat quiet. But like Magpie was working on other projects, and then you just kind of got to take a break because it is a lot of effort to put out videos.
Well, Magpie and DivKid share a similar reason for going quiet is the hardware production.
Yeah.
They and we haven't heard what the new DivKid releases, but you and I both know it's stereo. DivKid's doing a stereo module next.
Yeah.
So.
That stuff's hard. Like it's hard to get that. Like there's a lot of wrangling. I'm sure the parts shortage only makes it worse, and it's just a lot of testing, a lot of work. So.
Yeah. I think the part shortage is minimal.
Oh, I've seen it.
I really do.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of like when I look up like TLO 72s, like which are pretty common, I see like those things have like jumped in price like significantly. So it's crazy.
The other one that you're going to see coming up, the the hardware pin version of the LM13700s, the
Yeah.
OTA
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
op-amps, are discontinued in a pin-out version. They're only SMD from now on.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
that's
no
a
more,
big
no more
deal. I should just get like 70 of those or something, like
of
100,
of the
because
DIP
they're in like
package.
half the
Yeah,
shit I build. Shit. Thank
because
you
it's a
for that.
VCA and a chip. Yeah, no,
Yes.
you should get. They're definitely important to get the VC and the chip with a DIP. Big SMD is fine, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. No.
Well, I mean, it's SMD is like you said. It's both of those things. I'm not against SMD. I just there's something really zen about making a Cosmo module because it's all through hole. SMD is not zen. It's very
You get used to it. Don't worry about it.
yeah. It's just more of a task. It's not
It
a
is,
huge.
yeah.
But there is this little tiny. I know we're way over time. I don't even give a shit. There's this little tiny hot plate that I've been looking at on Amazon. I think it's like $150 or something, but it's like 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters or something. With the design of it is literally to set a circuit board on it that you've already like fluxed and have your SMD parts sitting on, and you just they melt right on. You're good. So that might change my perspective on SMD when I eventually get one of those.
Well, the future of SMD is definitely pin breakouts. Like, in other words,
Yes.
you know what I'm talking about? Like the 5 double spaced 5, and you can just drop it into something.
Yeah.
That is absolute. It's like a micro card in like a hardware prefab, but it comes pre-ordered. It can be a vending machine, for crying out loud. It can be like what gives you your soda and lottery tickets if you wanted it to be.
You know what? I've actually used IC vending machines.
Huh? What?
When I was in Japan, we went to
Oh God.
Electric Town, right? And like I forget the name of them. There's these machines that essentially have like plastic balls with whatever themed thing in there, toys, Gundams, whatever, right? And we're in like the the nerdy circuitry part of it, where they had like rows and rows of like Russian tubes or like things like that. But there were like 10 IC vending machines with like and it completely random ICs in there. So that was pretty cool to see. I'm
like
not competent enough to like pull something out of there and be like, oh, I could make something out of this no matter what. Like I don't know, but it was pretty cool.
It's a functional tourist attraction.
Yeah.
It's totally functional, especially with our interest. Is directly applicable.
Well, yeah. If I ever go back to a place, like, this is before I built, that modular. So if I ever go back, like my interests have evolved and changed enough where I'd be like, I'll take that whole box of tubes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, badass. Totally. If the apocalypse happens, you and me are both going to be the tube blowers. There's no choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see, New York City resistor hackerspace in Brooklyn puts breadboards and microcontrollers in their vending machines. That is cool. That is cool. All right. This has gone on pretty long. Sorry.
Yeah, we're going on almost 2 hours.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't have any more questions for you, right? I mean, I do. I wanted you to demo some stuff, but I think I gotta wait for that.
I could do the proof of concept track. This is the only thing I can do, which was supposed to be all about using the wave shaper. I was trying to use the wave shaper right here, the vacuum tube wave shaper.
Yeah.
But for my first technically live performance ever, which I was on 1 hour sleep for, but the vacuum tube wave shaper requires a square wave at the input. So what you have to do is, for wave shaper carrier ring mod, like AM circuits, you need a really strong square wave. Like it needs to be plus or minus 10 volt on the top to bottom. If you want to do wave shaping.
Now,
you know why? Is because the audio input is already at like 7 to 10 volts, so you have to wave shape it stronger then.
Right, you have to wave shape it stronger, and tubes take a lot of power. Like that's the short of it. to really do their thing.
In this one, yeah, in
For a
this
lot of
one,
voltage.
I think that's extremely fair in this one in particular. But the using an FM oscillator like Acme's Castle, which is pure digital, I think that you have to process it analog, such as the blades, the vacuum tube wave shaper.
Mm-hmm.
If you have analog filters, which isn't required, but some vacuum
Analog
tube wave
filters.
shaping. It's not required, but seriously, the wave shaping should really be analog, only because why not use a tube?
Yeah.
Is there anything? Why not? Like a tube is perfect for wave shaping.
I mean, I was looking at Erica Synth's tube modules for just that reason. I was like, well, let's check out these. They have tubes. Let's see what they sound like. If they sound really good, I'm excited about it. But like analog, I don't know. There's some sounds you just can't. I think it's because there's a lot of imprecision. I don't know. I have a lot of.
It's not just imprecision. It's also the infinite ability to go from like hard to soft.
Right.
You can dial in soft. You can dial in hard. You fuck the shit out of it. It's really nice.
That sounds cool. I can't wait to hear that in action.
You have
filters
already.
too, yeah. Well, filters too are also. Like I like a lot of analog, I like a lot of digital, and I'm cool with digital doing just about everything. But when it comes to filtering, like I am not convinced on digital. Like analog, there's just such a significant difference.
Hear me out though. On digital filters, there are some things you could never achieve analog. So digital filter, so you have to take the best of them and leave the rest. You have to take the best of it and use that for what it is. And what I perceive it to be is obviously, besides what Mutable Instruments introduced with beads, which is attenuate randomizing, the other thing is modes and formants. I kind of think that formant modes digitally will always supersede. So like that talk mouth Skrillex shit where it's like all that sample and hold, like the audio rate sample and hold. I think that'll be better digital.
Yeah, that I mean I can see that. I mean we can dial that in right now to be format, but it won't compare to. I see what you're saying to a digital.
Because you can do like 48 decibel pole.
Yeah.
48 decibel pole can only exist digitally, otherwise it's going to break your speakers.
Right, totally. And I think mine are what, like the analogs are like, the ones I have I think are MS-20,
24,
12,
20,
maybe.
I think Doper on the expander, I think it does like a 48 decibel, but it's the expander by Doper is the only like Doper filter should get.
Yeah.
Because the expander synth. The Oberheim is the Oberheim filter.
I was also looking at the Wasp, but I'm not convinced on the Wasp just yet.
I had it. It's nice for sample and hold circuits. It really eats sample and hold nice, but otherwise, get the expander.
The expander, all right.
Yeah, from the Oberheim synth. Yeah, it's a really nice filter.
Okay. There's just something really I can't. I mean.
That's gorgeous.
I love it, especially when there's too much resonance on either way. Like when you can go, when you can self-resonate really easily is great, and when you can turn it so far down, when you can turn the filter cutoff so far down that it's effectively silent, that's what I want.
Well, that's ideal. That's like a VCA at that point, going full silent.
I mean, my ideal VCA is like, or I want this quad VCA mixer, right? But instead of VCAs, I want like all filters. I don't know.
and this is the thing about Mutable Instruments braids. Braids will go full silent. Yeah. Braids will go dead silent.
You mean blades?
Blades, not braids.
I was like, I don't think braids will go silent because it's a sound source, but
later, yeah,
you have to go pretty far low. I don't know if it goes that low.
Blades will go silent.
Blades. All right. Okay, I'm calling it. Everybody,
cool.
Thank you so much. I can't close this chat because I have to write down all the modules and scope a bunch of them out. Like I've never heard of Three Sisters or the 860 from System 80, but I will be looking up those filters because I love filters. I love them.
Cool.
They can make any sound, including cats, sound good.
Let's hear it. Give me the outro.
Like cats. iCurry just does the trick.
That resonance. Yeah.
It's not even that much resonance.
It's got some resonance. It's nasally.
I forgot to switch it back to the drums.
It's got like some Trent Reznor nose.
I need a filter on this one too.
Ugh. That's dirty.
I love it. I love filters. You know what? I'll just say it. Only thing that sounds good on my entire setup is the filter.
You're being humble.
All right, I'll play us out.
Woo! Yeah.
Let's make this sound more like a cat. Forgot about the goose.